Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and I'm so close to being caught up with reviewing all of the songs, and by the time that I actually have caught up, there'll be even more to review, so yeah, a reviewer's job is never done. So today, I'm talking about the song selected by Norway. I started the sentence with too much energy, and the focal point is Norway. Norway happened, Norway's got a song. Norway exists. I don't really know what else to say here, apart from to introduce that the song is performed by Ulrikke Brandstorp. I rehearsed saying that in the bathroom mirror before coming in here to record this, and I probably still said it wrong. The song is called Attention, and quite frankly, it's a far cry from the previous song at Eurovision called Attention, in case anyone remembers that from, that was 6 years ago at this point. Anyway, it's fully in English, music and lyrics by Ulrikke herself, as well as Christian Ingebrigtsen and Kjetil Mørland. Hey, we've not seen him oh my god, that's even longer ago. Wait, no, other way. It's less long ago than Vilja Undivided. Okay, so we have some blasts from the past in completely irrelevant ways because Mørland represented Norway in 2015 and now he's back as a composer, and the song has nothing to do with the previous song called Attention apart from having the title in common. Tess, stop rambling and just start reviewing, please. Okay, so I won't lie, I was a tiny bit worried about this one because I had heard going into it that it was rather aggressively hyped up by the fandom, and usually when the fandom hypes up a song, it ends up being mediocre and then fails to impress me, and then everyone just gets into a massive fight over it. That's not really the case here, luckily, for everyone involved. I do think it's a little bit on the overhyped side for what it is, don't get me wrong, but it's not a disagreeable little track. Norway has sent emotional ballady things before and got good results from it at the contest, even if their track record has been a bit shakier when it comes to my personal opinion of those songs. That is to say, 2015, excellent song, 2014, bored me, and I barely remember 2010. Though I think the singer from 2010 was also in the national final this year. Small world. Anyway, this song has Mørland in common with the last time Norway sent a ballad that I fell in love with, so I suspect that this song will also land on the Norwegian ballads that I can vibe with corner of things. One way or the other though, if I had to sum this up in a single sentence, well, my first inclination was, if Sara Alto did a Bond theme. Make of that what you will, I guess. Now, starting with the positives, as we always do, something that I made note of more or less straight away with this one. It was something that started as a bit of a hunch, but then was very quickly confirmed by the song as a whole. It's got that perfectly crafted atmosphere of heightened drama and emotion in a way that's really not dissimilar to Rise Like a Phoenix. Am I calling this song a guaranteed future winner? Not at this stage. It's much too soon to say, and I don't know, I'm undecided yet. I wouldn't write this off as a guaranteed winner by any stretch of the imagination, but I can say with confidence that this song at least brings similar energies, powered by a vocalist whose voice can absolutely make it work. I know I go down this route a lot in these reviews, but it continues to hold true. Once again, we have a singer who absolutely smashes it live, hitting all the right notes, all the right emotions, and projecting her voice in just the right way so as not to be swallowed up by the stage, but also the emotions in her voice are completely believable as well, which is good. This song brings a relatively unique take to the story that it presents, but in such a way that it's disarmingly relatable, to be honest, especially coming from me, a YouTuber. Please give me your attention. But yes, the fact that Ulrikke can perfectly fill the role of the protagonist of the story, I guess, means that that impact is all the more, well, impactful. In terms of arrangement as well, this song builds and develops more than quite a bit nicely. Specifically, I want to call out the way that they bring the choral vocals in to underscore the refrain from its second appearance onwards, which gives the song this swelling sense of occasion and progress. See, a certain other country that I'm yet to review, you don't need to rely on key changes to have that effect. So as if it needed reiterating, it is obvious that the writing team behind this song knows exactly what they're doing, and they've executed it brilliantly. As I said, it's Mørland. He does brilliant ballads. Similarly, but even more specifically, okay, this will almost definitely just be a me thing, but I find the refrain to be incredibly satisfying to the ear, the way she's able to bring in the lines, what do you want me to say, what do you want me to do, and have it not only fit the syllabic pattern perfectly, but also fit the rhyme scheme perfectly without it sounding contrived. That is just Beautiful stuff right there. I have no idea why I vibe so strongly with that part in particular, but I do. So congratulations, Norway, you can be proud of this one. Maybe it's the fact that usually rhyme schemes are either A, B, C, D, or A, B, C, B, or A, A, B, B, and this is A, B, A, B, which you don't get very often. Whatever the case is, Norway, you're done good. Now though, having given credit where it is very much due, it's only fair that we consider the other side of matters. For instance, much like Italy this year, this song comes across as, in air quotes, just a ballad, especially when compared to the country's previous entry. Yes, that is absolutely an unfair way of thinking, and yes, not everyone in the Eurovision audience will have that in mind in the first place, but still. Norway topped the public vote last year, and while this is a more mature, more brooding song, it doesn't engage in quite the same broadly appealing, barnstorming kind of way. In other words, especially musically, this one is a bit of a slow burner. A very slow burner. It fits the style of song, of course, but if you're not willing to invest in it at an early stage, then there's not much here to keep your interest. It's far from the most boring example of the genre, of course, but it's also not particularly stimulating if you don't resonate with the emotional aspect of it, and some people won't, and that's fine. Different tastes for different tastes. That's not how that expression goes. But my point is, the story of the song is one that kind of relies on that kind of investment, and the instrumentation builds in accordance with that, so you see where I'm coming from? And running parallel to all that, meanwhile, there's the staging from the national final, which I would expect to see sort of mimicked at the contest proper with minimal changes, but that's the thing, it's kind of static. Yes, it's understated and to a very appropriate degree, without being completely motionless, but once again, without much dynamism, it can sort of further that disassociation or disengagement that some viewers may experience. Personally, I like what they did with the violinist. I think that was a really nice touch, but some people will be like, yeah, but she's just standing there. In a way, in the same way that Australia and Lithuania do too much in the motion department, Norway almost doesn't seem to do enough. I concede, there's a fine line to walk here, because anything even resembling an excess of choreography would utterly destroy the carefully crafted atmosphere and impact that the song is aiming for, but if it's no movement at all, or almost no movement until the end where the singer takes a step forward, you can see how that might be a little bit underwhelming, right? So then, scores out of 10. As I've confessed in the past, it takes a very special kind of downbeat song to properly resonate with me, and I know that that's just a trapping of my personal tastes. Nevertheless, I've yet to hear a song by Mørland that I don't like. I mean, even his song from the national final last year was something to be marvelled at, so I'm going to give this a personal score of 8 out of 10, and that's because I enjoy the song and not because I like the artist who wrote it. You know, I'm not like the rest of the fandom. I will consider a song fairly regardless of who's sending it. But yes, to be perfectly frank, this song brings a gorgeous voice to a gorgeous composition and tells a touching story that is surprisingly easy to relate to through lyrics that are satisfying to the ear. And can we shout out the story of the song for a second? It's not the usual, oh, love, fire, higher, wire, desire, oh, you left me on a Sunday. Instead, it's, I want you to pay attention to me, and who doesn't relate to that? The only thing stopping me from going any higher than that number, though, is I find myself constantly waiting for something else to happen in the song, for it to build into something even bigger, for some final swell, and it never quite gets there. Granted, it never promises to go there in the first place, but I still find myself kind of expecting it, you know? Still, it's pretty and well done, and I can recognise that. The thing I'm waiting for is the choral vocals in the second refrain. It never builds beyond that, so... For that reason, though, I am going to give this a technical rating of 10 out of 10. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the perfect song. There's no such thing as a perfect song, as far as I'm concerned, but I don't want 10 out of 10 to be unattainable. Simply, I recognise the musical proficiency that went into both writing and performing this song, and I have to praise the lyrics for their emotional tone, impactful narrative, and honestly satisfying execution. There are, of course, elements that I would change about this song if I were a professional song mixer, but that's just down to me and my personal tastes and me overthinking the engagement factor. Recent years have shown that Eurovision fans are actually more mature than they used to be. Well, in terms of their taste in music at least, there's still a lot of bratty babies in the online space, but that's a different issue entirely. So yeah, 10 out of 10 I should think. That seems fair to me. But where does this song put Norway in the bigger picture? I would say, they're doing fine. Their national final format has served them well in recent years, and this year's version of it was especially extravagant as a celebration of Norway doing their thing for 60 years at this point. The changes they made to that extent did seem a little bit on the extra side, and there were some questionable song choices in and among as a result. Not to mention that the winner was an automatic finalist anyway, which sort of begs the question of what the point of the semi-finals even was, and then also the issue of the online vote not counting, so they had to use a backup jury who didn't vote based on the live performances. There was a bit of a storm brewing there, but I mean, that could happen to any all of what I just listed could happen to any format. Put simply, Norway hasn't missed a final since their failure to qualify in 2016, and even then, that was just a blip. So they're doing fine, especially considering their televote win last year. Just saying, they've come a long way from the record holder of most last places in the 20th century. And if that didn't drop any hints clearly enough, yeah, will it qualify? I think this will be fairly safe when the time comes to vote in the semi-finals. This is the sort of song that juries absolutely adore, and for good reason. Like I said, it shows all the hallmarks of a proficient production from start to finish to live performance. The amount of hype I've seen for this one from the fandom too tells me that it will probably fare pretty well with the public as well. I don't see this repeating the public vote landslide that Spirit in the Sky achieved last year, but I think its jury appeal will probably make up for that gap. Do I see this winning the contest? Personally, no, not yet. Give it time. I don't think this will lose by any means, it's just we don't know what it's up against in the hype department, and I personally wouldn't hype it up as a potential winner, at least any more than I would any other song. As far as I care, they're all potential winners at this point. But yeah, there's more songs to come. It could be a contender depending on what it comes up against in May. It could also be a song. It might be a contender, it might not be. So my advice is do not overthink it and do not be unfair to other songs based on your preconceptions accordingly. I, for one, think it's much too soon to be talking like that anyway, but that's just me. What do you lovely people think? As always, iCard in the corner of the video. Vote, let me know how you feel about this song. Do you like it? Do you not? Do you feel indifferent? Let's have a conversation. As always, comment section below, you know where to find me. And to Ulrikke and all of Team Norway this year, I wish you the very best of luck when you hit the stage in Rotterdam, because you've got my attention and the attention of quite a lot of the fandom as well.